What is going on, everybody? C4 here today, bringing the newest episode of the Toronto Huskies Connected Franchise Mode. You may say to yourself, Week 17, what is going on? Well, as I said in the last big update video, we're going to be doing a condensed version just so we can speed these things up because I want to have an end game for both my Philadelphia Eagles Connected Franchise Mode and the Huskies. I want to be done this before Madden 18 season comes. So after, looking at suggestions in the comment section, what I think the best solution is going to be 4 games per episode. What we're going to do is we're going to simulate the first 3, we'll look at the box scores, analyze that, and then the 4th game will be an edited, like the old school, like the 10-minute edit of gameplay. And because, we're on uneven amounts, usually 4 games, you can do the full 16-game season in 4 episodes, and then I'll probably do individual episodes for the playoffs. Because, like I said, we did this mid-season, I had to simulate 4 games, and then the 5th game here is the season finale, Week 17, against the Buffalo Bills. And we were, when we last touched, 7-4, and now we're sitting at an 8-7 record. So it looks like the Brandon Allen train, as the wheels have kind of fell off that. So let's take a look here quickly at the last couple weeks where we haven't been in control, and it hasn't looked pretty, to be completely honest with you. So the first game we had was a 21-7 victory over the Cleveland Browns. Looking at the player stats here for the Huskies, Brandon Allen, another clean game. That is what's been making him a little bit of money here, potentially. As he's the future quarterback, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. The turnovers have been a massive part of his game. Running the ball, we got 73 yards, no touchdowns from the freak Leonard Fournette. In terms of receiving yards, Allen Robinson continuing to have a standout season with 6 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Then we got Ty Montgomery had a nice game. Even Djax, 5 for 55. And Ty Montgomery had 65 yards and a touchdown. On the defensive side of the ball, leading tackler was Telvin Smith with 8, Jarrad Davis with 7. We got 2.5 sacks from David Onyemata, 1.5 from Shaq Barrett, and 1 from Myles Jack. The interceptions, couple turnovers here on the Browns quarterback, a pick for Myles Jack, and a pick for Jarrad Davis in the win. But that looks like the last time we were able to taste victory here, as in the next matchup, Week 14, we lost in a close one, 22-17 against the Arizona Cardinals. Our players' stats in that one. Another really clean game from Brandon Allen. 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Got sacked 5 times. Our offensive line was not helping him out. Only 54 yards on the day for Leonard Fournette. In terms of receiving, look, Deshaun Jackson, 5 receptions, 85 yards and a touchdown. Ty Montgomery also chipped in with a touchdown. But, anytime Allen Robinson only gets 25 yards in a game, we're probably not going to have a lot of success. So credit, obviously, the Arizona Cardinals defense. On our defense, Jarrad Davis and Josh Henry Clemens are 2 standout rookies, both with 12 sacks apiece. And we got 3 sacks from David Onyemata. 5 sacks in 2 weeks. Is that 5.5 sacks in 2 weeks? My God. Yannick Ngakoue with a sack and a half-sack party shared around there in the defeat to the Arizona Cardinals. Then in Week 15, we take on the LA Rams and got whooped 35-7. Offensively, an incredibly poor game. Only 64. Like I said, we're not really relying on the run here, which should be what we're doing. Brandon Allen, again, clean game, 258 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. The turnovers are staying to be down. But Fournette has been non-existent since we have given up the reins for the Huskies. Only 44 yards on this day. Receiving yards, 61 yards and a touchdown from Allen Robinson. Ty Montgomery, 4 catches for 103 yards, but nothing else outside of that. And the defensive side of the ball, Telvin Smith and Jarrad Davis, both double-digit tackles. We got a sack from Dom Easley, and no turnovers in that game. A clean game against Jared Goff, which is kind of surprising. Usually you could force him to do a couple turnovers, but maybe that was a big reason why we fell to the Rams. And then last week, Week 16, against the Houston Texans, and what would have been a massive game. I really wanted to play it, but I stick by the format. We lost 37-7 to the Houston Texans. Always a tough team, as you can see there. We just, they demolished us. Almost double the amount of offensive yards gained. Special teams, they beat us. Looking at the Huskies here, Brandon Allen, 181 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Finally, a turnover for Brandon Allen, but, that's not going to cut it here in a crucial game. 57 yards from Fournette. Again, incredibly disappointing. I guess you might have to throw that one up to my offensive line. In terms of receiving, Montgomery, 67 yards. Allen Robinson, 62 yards and a touchdown. And on the defensive side of the ball, Jarrad Davis, again, an animal with 13 total tackles. We got a sack here from Dante Fowler, a sack from Yannick Ngakoue, and once again, a failure to get an interception or a turnover here. That's a killer right there. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't really want to make the playoffs my first year. I wanted this to be kind of difficult. At least the sim kind of balances that out, me being able to take over the game and control it and win it, but I don't know. All right, so what we got to do here is take on the Buffalo Bills. And let's look here at the Bills of the finale. Let's take a quick look at their roster before we jump into things. Well, there we go. We can see where we're at, but we'll do that more so in the finale, the culmination episode. The cunnilingus episode, as some immature asshole will probably call it. But looking at the Bills here for the upcoming matchup, Tyrod Taylor, not good. 17 touchdowns, 21 picks, turnover prone. Hopefully we can get a couple picks back on our end. We're running the ball. Shady, not a bad year, 1,400 yards and 8 touchdowns. Looks like they got some versatility here. Jonathan Williams chipping in with 7 touchdowns. As well, you got to be worried about Tyrod Taylor making plays with his feet. Receiving, Sammy Watkins, almost a 1,000-yard receiver. Hopefully we can shut him down enough that he doesn't break the 1,000-yard mark for the season. And on the defensive side of the ball, they got Zach Brown, who's always a tackle machine. No real standout sack artist. And for the interceptions, Zach Brown got 4 picks. So a lot of playmaking there from the middle linebacker. But outside of that, I'm not too worried. I think we should be able to at least close this one out with a win. I don't know necessarily how the tiebreakers work, but maybe if the Titans and Texans lose and we win, we might be able to squeak into the playoffs. I'm not exactly sure how that'll work out. But personally, like I said, no one wants to say they want to start a series and not make the playoffs. But I think because this is the first year of an expansion, it might help with the realism if we struggle a little bit and don't make it. But who knows? We'll see what happens as we get ready here to take on the Buffalo Bills at Ralph Wilson Stadium. All right, so we're pretty much on the outskirts of making the playoffs, but you never know what can happen. Maybe just a nice, respectable 9-7 finish for an expansion franchise, which is, I would say, super exceeding pretty much every expectation we could have put on this franchise. We're going up against the 5-10 Bills in Buffalo, so I'm expecting the weather to be absolutely atrocious, but we should be able to hammer out this game. Hopefully we can get Leonard Fournette involved. Brandon Allen, this is maybe his last opportunity as a audition to be our starting quarterback of the future. Who knows what we're gonna do? We're gonna have to wait and see. But I'm gonna definitely need a strong performance here from Brandon Allen. So here we go, 2nd and 4, open it in the opening drive of the first leg. It's a snow game. Forced fumble right off the rip. Brandon Allen just could not have any less pocket awareness. Not getting any help from his offensive line. So yeah, phenomenal start. Now we have Tyrod Taylor moving around, marching around, 3rd and 2. Fires in the back of the end zone, but then look at that, the monster. Josh Harvey Clemens forces that pass break up with the big-time hit on number 10. Harvey Clemens has been as good as any rookie that I've seen and played with in this Madden game. So it's 4th and 2, holding to a field goal here again. With crappy weather like this, nothing's automatic, but that should be pretty good as they get a 3-0 lead. Oh, come on. At least we bend, not break, Now we're out with 2nd and 9. We got the ball right back, charging down the field, dropping back. Hits Luke Wilson, the Canadian. Used to this snow. He loves this. He thrives in this environment. Brandon Allen's 5-5, 39 yards. Hitting the Canadian. There we go. Set up in the red zone on the 9-yard line. 1st and goal. This is where Leonard Fournette needs to make a killing. But we got Chris Ivory in the backfield, so we can't have that. That's audible here to a pass. Let's see if we can get Allen Robinson. Of course, another forced fumble. And recovered by Zach Brown. So back-to-back drives, back-to-back offensive possessions, back-to-back. Forced fumbles, back-to-back fumble losses. This is not looking like a good final try here for Brandon Allen as the quarterback of our future. Look at that. Come on. Where's the pocket awareness? So, Buffalo at the ball. It's 3rd and 16 now for them in the 2nd quarter. Almost jumped offside there, but look at this. Fighting. Double team action right now. We're going to double team. He fights out the double team, and Dante Fowler gets into the backfield, making it a 4th and a mile. Dante Fowler, that's his 15th sack of the season. He has been uber productive, even though he's a Florida boy through and through. Living up here in Canada, playing in the snow, it's like second coming of him. So now we're 3rd and 15 here, dropping back, and oh, look at that, a 3rd fumble. 3 drives, 3 fumbles, 3 fumble losses, and look at this one. Quentin Copples being able to return that one back to the house. Incredibly disappointing play and production from our offense right now. Just disgusting way to end the season. Who knows? So it's 10-0. I mean, like I said, we're at least it's bend not break. The Bills aren't really anything spectacular. But this is pretty much a great summary of the game. Offensive line, terrible production, terrible run blocking. Even the C4 special, which works almost 100% of the time with Leonard Fournette, couldn't get anything going here in the snow. You usually figure in a snow game, too, you kind of defact to the run game. But it was this play. Right here we go. Dropping back. Allen Robinson. A break-in coverage. Had him working out of the slot. So that's a mismatch right away. Able to get and take it all the way to the house right before the 2-minute warning to make it a 3-point game. As Rex Ryan can't believe it. Can't believe it. This goddamn fake dentures. But I'm going to tell you right now, as you can tell, this video is coming to an end because that was pretty much it. And everything else, this was an embarrassing performance here from the Toronto Huskies. Look at this. Brian Poole, what are you doing? Letting Tyrod Taylor walk right into the end zone like that. Offered zero resiliency. This team gave up. They fell on the sword, as they say. That's it. That's fucking it. 33-7 demolishing. We gave up almost 100 points in the last 3 weeks. I think we got the last 3 weeks. It's probably 104 points against, 21 points for. We've done horrendous. Brandon Allen, not a bad game. 219 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Leonard Fournette could not get anything. 2.7 yards per carry. Al Robinson had that one big play. 4 receptions, 97 yards. Terrible production from the offensive line. 8 sacks. 8 sacks is completely unacceptable, especially against a 5-10 team. On the defensive side of the ball, Fowler had himself a good game. 8 total tackles, 2 sacks. But outside of that, man, really disappointing performance. So let's get this through and jump right into the offseason.